we're doing Potters for Timbuktu, which is going to concentrate on ceramics and the difference between making pots in Hay-on-Wye and making pots in Mali, North Africa. So we emphasise that today with the children at Clyrose School. We're going to go into 4 different schools, I think, over the course of the project, and we're going to highlight the fact that craft or pottery making is a fundamental craft activity. It's been done for thousands of years, and that there's many similarities between how we make pots in Hay-on-Wye and how they make pots in Mali and North Africa. So I did a presentation this morning with the children, and they really picked up on that, how the similarities in the colour of the clay and the type of clay and the way we fire things, the fact that pots have to be fired. So we're looking at that, the similarities between the basic disciplines, and we're also looking at the differences, highlighting the differences. So the fact that the pots are fired outside in Mali and they're fired in a kiln in Hay-on-Wye, and they're made by women in North Africa and generally made by men in Hay-on-Wye. So there's lots of these things that the children are picking up on.
Put it in a big fire, they put it in, and then when the fire goes out, they take it out of the fire. They dry their pots outside, but we dry them inside on like shelves, because it's much more sunnier than when we're down like here. The ladies do all the pottery, and in Hay all the men do all the pottery. They're very different. In Timbuktu they didn't have the spinning wheel, but in Hay-on-Wye they used the spinning wheel instead of turning them by hand.
There's clearly a lot of craft skills in Timbuktu in that area, and pottery is a fundamental craft, isn't it? It's been going on forever. So there's always pottery everywhere in the world. So I just thought it would be worth making that connection. We're the only working pottery in Hay-on-Wye. We're one of the few in this area. And we've been here in Hay for nearly 20 years, so we're going to be able to have this kind of cultural connection, aren't we? We need to find out a little bit more about the kind of pots they make and what the function is. Generally, I've asked some questions, and all the pots are functional. They make useful functional pots, as we do. That was one of the points we raised with the children today. You know, what's the purpose of pottery? What do you do with it? And in Timbuktu, they use it to cook in and to store oil and water. And all the pottery we make in this studio is all functional. It all has a purpose. I think working with clay is one of the oldest craft forms, if you like, and it's also been one of the most useful. So I just think it's really important for children to be aware of that, how fundamental it is, and the fact that there's plenty of practicing potters and craft makers all over the world, and particularly in this area, you know, who are really making really beautiful quality work, and they dedicate their lives to doing that, really. And I think it would be it's the same in Timbuktu, and I think it's important for the children to realise that sometimes you know, those making skills, those kind of fundamental making skills, as opposed to maybe digital technology or other kinds of activities, are still quite valued, I think.